The screen opens in complete silence, broken only by distant city noise as a man walks alone through empty streets, his face calm, almost blank, but his eyes carry something broken, something burning. He doesn't speak, he doesn't explain who he is or why he's here, and that's exactly what makes him terrifying, because from the very first second you feel that something irreversible is about to happen, something that cannot be stopped, and before the audience even understands what kind of story this is, the violence explodes without warning, raw, sudden, and brutally real, making it clear that this is not a typical action movie. This is a descent into the mind of a man who has crossed a line long ago and never looked back. The man is Bill Williamson, a ghost moving through society unnoticed, a product of neglect, rage, and years of bottled frustration, and he is done being invisible. He believes the system is rotten, governments are corrupt, people are blind, and the only way to wake them up is through fear, real, blood-soaked fear. Bill doesn't want money, he doesn't want fame, he wants to punish a world that he believes deserves to suffer, and as he arms himself with military precision, preparing weapons, explosives, and body armor, the film never pauses to moralize, it just watches him coldly, letting the audience sit with the discomfort of understanding his logic even if they reject it. And that's what makes it disturbing, because Bill is not portrayed as insane in the traditional sense. He is calculated, intelligent, and horrifyingly calm. He studies news footage, political speeches, social decay, and economic collapse, and every word he hears reinforces his belief that violence is the only language left. The city around him feels lifeless, crowds move mechanically, unaware that one man has decided to turn their apathy into a battlefield. When Bill finally strikes, it's sudden and merciless. Gunfire erupts in public spaces, panic spreads instantly, people run, scream, fall, and the camera refuses to look away, forcing the viewer to experience the chaos from ground level. No heroic music, no slow motion, just raw survival as Bill moves like a machine, executing his plan with terrifying efficiency. Police are caught off guard, emergency lines are flooded, and confusion dominates every response, because this isn't a robbery or a hostage situation, it's a statement written in blood. Bill records messages explaining his ideology, speaking directly to the audience inside the film and outside it, breaking the fourth wall emotionally if not literally. He talks about consumerism, about government lies, about people trading freedom for comfort, and as disturbing as his actions are, his words are unsettling because they echo thoughts many are afraid to admit. The film traps the viewer in a moral nightmare, asking a dangerous question: what happens when a broken system creates a monster who believes he's the cure? Law enforcement scrambles to identify the attacker, but Bill has planned everything: escape routes, safe houses, fake identities. He blends back into society after each attack, becoming a rumor, a fear wisp, read on the news and debated online. Some call him a terrorist, others call him a revolutionary, and this division is exactly what he wants. The city becomes tense, paranoid, everyone suspects, everyone trust erodes rapidly, and Bill watches it all from the shadows, satisfied that his message is spreading even as bodies pile up. The film slows down briefly to show Bill alone, removing his armor, washing blood from his hands, staring at his reflection not with guilt but with purpose, and that moment is chilling because it shows he believes he's right, that everything he's done is justified, necessary, even noble. As the police finally start closing and Bill adopts escalating his attacks, making them louder, more symbolic, more impossible to ignore. The tension builds relentlessly because the audience knows this cannot end peacefully. There is no redemption arc, no sudden change of heart, only momentum pushing toward a catastrophic collision between one man's ideology and the world that refuses to listen. And as the first part reaches its climax, Bill prepares for something bigger, something final, something that will force everyone to look at him, and the screen cuts at the worst possible moment, leaving the viewer suspended in dread, knowing the real horror is still coming. The tension tightens as Bill Williamson disappears once again into the city like a disease, slipping back into the bloodstream, leaving authorities scrambling to explain what they cannot understand. News channels replay the footage endlessly, analysts argue, politicians promise change that no one believes, and while the world argues, Bill prepares because he knows something they don't. Fear fades quickly unless it's fed, and his next move is designed to burn itself into memory. He studies police patterns, response times, human human behavior under stress. Every detail matters because this isn't rage anymore, it's strategy, and the most terrifying thing about Bill is not his weapons but his patience. He wants to be hunted, he wants the system to expose its weakness. As police finally trace fragments of evidence back to him, the pressure increases. Roadblocks, surveillance, raids, but Bill is always one step ahead, moving through abandoned buildings, forgotten neighborhoods, places society discarded long ago, mirroring how he feels about himself. And as the net tightens, he records another message, colder, sharper, directly challenging the viewer, asking uncomfortable questions about complicity, about how everyone benefits from the same system they claim to hate, and whether silence makes them innocent or guilty. And the film dares the audience to sit with those questions without offering easy answers. When the final confrontation begins, it doesn't feel heroic, it feels inevitable. Gunfire echoes through concrete corridors, alarms scream, chaos returns, but now it's heavier, more desperate, because both sides know this ends today. Bill fights with nothing left to lose. Police fight to stop a symbol from becoming immortal, and every shot fired feels like punctuation in a sentence the world helped write. As bodies fall, the camera stays unflinching, forcing the viewer to confront the cost of ideology when it turns violent. And in a chilling moment, Bill is cornered, wounded, bleeding, yet still speaking, still preaching his message, refusing to surrender. His belief that he is right, that history will remember him not as a monster but as a warning, and that belief is what truly unsettles, because even as he collapses, the idea doesn't die. The city survives, the headlines move on, investigations close, but something has changed. People are quieter, more suspicious, conversations linger longer on fear, on anger, on resentment, and the final moments refuse to give closure, instead leaving the audience with the haunting realization that Bill Williamson was never meant to be a singular villain. He was a symptom. And as the screen fades, the silence returns heavier than before, because the film isn't asking if Bill was evil, it's asking how many more like him are waiting unnoticed, blending into the crowd until the day they decide to be seen.